Season 2 of The Rings of Power has finally dropped. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my anticipation levels for this show were not that high. House of the Dragon, I'm a fan. This I was very skeptical of because look guys, I was not a massive fan of season 1. It was okay at best, and I've seen a lot of online reviews. People are already taking a dump on the show. There's pure hatred attached to the show. Now, I want to watch the show from a neutral perspective. I am a massive fan of The Lord of the Rings. It's one of my favorite franchises ever. The original trilogy is an absolute masterpiece of cinema. The Fellowship of the Ring, absolutely incredible. So it's always going to be a difficult task when you try to take on an IP like this. This franchise has diehard fans. Now, there is a lot of positives to take away from the show, and the show also has its negatives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the positives, the things that I do like, and I'm just going to point out some of the things that actually make this show weaker. One of the things that I absolutely love about this show is the Sauron storyline. The show is at its strongest when it just focuses on Sauron. Now, he is a deeply flawed character, very interesting, is you never know what to expect when it comes to Sauron, and if the show can basically just focus on him, like just that should be the show's main focus. Now, look, when the show starts off in episode 1, we get to see, how Sauron was betrayed and then he turned into venom. We ate a bunch of rats and squirrels and eventually ate a human, and then he's in the form that we saw him in season 1, so that was pretty interesting. Visual effects wise, brilliant. I actually feel like they could have started with that in season 1. Just keep the focus on Sauron. Amazing. And then the next thing that I absolutely love as well is the relationship between Sauron and Celebrimbor, the guy who makes the rings. That relationship between them, the dynamic, and how Sauron just goes in and he absolutely manipulates this guy. He uses his charm, and he's kind of gullible, as he falls for the chief manipulator. So that dynamic and that interaction and that conversations that they have is some of the show's strongest material. And that is basically where the focus should be. And it's actually weird if you think about it, because if you look at season 1, Galadriel and Elrond were supposed to be the main characters. They were stylized as the main characters, and they just take a backseat this season, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because I thought Galadriel is the star of the show, and it's clear to see that this season that focus has shifted to the Dark Lord, Sauron. So I feel like that's an interesting dynamic, the Sauron dynamic. And that's what the show should focus on. The main focus should be on that. The production value is incredible. I still think it's the most expensive TV show ever made. And it definitely looks that way. It looks like a live action feature film, and the one thing also that works well is the fact that each episode is an hour long. We don't really get television like this anymore. No 30-minute episodes. So that aspect, costumes, location, set design, all those things are the positives that I absolutely love about the show. Those things work. Stunning. Focus on Sauron and make the show look good. VFX on point. Stunning. Now the negatives. This is where the show just, everything just goes south for the whole show. First, I want to talk about the subplot lines. There's a lot of things here, guys, especially, the blind queen and the elf who fell in love with the lady in season 1, and also you have Isildur. Those plot lines are not interesting, guys. They are not interesting. There's nothing there. There's a lot of characters there that you, frankly, you don't really care about. I don't care about those characters. I feel like story wise, there hasn't been enough emphasis and, character building when it comes to those characters. So, I mean, this is season 2, and revisiting those characters, there's nothing interesting because in season 1 they failed to actually establish these characters as meaningful characters in the show. So that is an issue I have. The subplots, the guy that's supposedly Gandalf, and I don't know if it's Gandalf, but he might as well be Gandalf. Mystery surrounding that one. But then also the pacing. That is another issue that I have. I mean, you have an hour of episode, It's 50 minutes, 60 minutes approximately. And the pacing is so bad. Conversations at times can be tedious, There's nothing meaningful progressing the story forward. I mean, if you have an hour, you can, have so much things in that 1 hour that has impact. I don't want to compare this to House of the Dragon, but I have to. If you look at the story structure and how that has been set up, it just makes sense. Each episode feels like, it has meaning. When you come to the Rings of Power, most of the episodes and some of the runtime just feels like a lot of fillers, feels like fillers, filling in the gaps, then we go to this character, we jump to this character, and then you move away the focus from where the main story should actually be. And I feel like that's where everything gets lost, and it can be a little distracting at times. Now, that is the problem that I have with the show, the pacing, some of the writing, and the subpar plot lines that are not interesting. That is my main problem that I have with the show. So that is just me, indicating what I like and what works and what doesn't work well at all, So it's not a bad show. It's just okay. Hopefully things can get better. I'm going to stick with the show. I want to watch it. I want to see what happens. I'm not going to take a dump on the show. I'm not going to be like just hating on the show for the sake of hating on the show. That's easy. But I actually want to watch it, study it, and actually try to find something good and, look at the positives and look at the negatives. And I feel like that's how you should look at a show. So that's 3 episodes in, guys. I really hope it gets better, And for now, if I can give you a rating based on the first 3 episodes, I'll definitely give it a, to be fair, I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5, 2.5. I was going towards a 2, but, the production value, set design, costumes, VFX, and the whole story surrounding Sauron, I find that intriguing. And if it's one of those cases, if it works, it works very well. If it doesn't work, it's terrible, And please let me know what you guys think about the Rings of Power, I'm going to stick with it. And, I mean, House of the Dragon is it's done, So this is basically the next best thing on television. So it is what it is, guys. And please comment down below, and please let me know what you guys think about the Rings of Power. I would love to know what you guys think about this show. There was a massive hype initially around the show when season 1 came out, and I feel like I don't see a lot of hype around season 2, and hopefully it might get better, guys. I don't know. And that's it for me, guys. Please let me know what you guys think, and I will definitely catch you on the next video.